So now left off the mat, we're finishing off our food crawl through Huon in southern Tasmania with a wonderful Francis Bender. And due to the fact that Francis knows so much about salmon, we're going to start today's episode with some salmon. A great sort of family or friends coming over, what's something that I can cook that people will love, that I don't have to put a huge amount of effort into? That's this dish. It's a potato salmon bake. It's simple, which is good. It's healthy. It's tasty. It's all the things that you want for throwing something together quickly on a Thursday night or something like that. The first thing I want to make is kind of my sauce and cook my potatoes at the same time. So the good thing that's happening here is we're getting two things done in one process. So I want my milk, 350 mils of milk, about a cup and a half. And then my potatoes, I just want to chop these into sort of bite-sized pieces. Now, I may leave them like that later, or I may sort of crush them up a little bit so they're almost like a smashed potato or a broken potato. But if you just cut them this way to start with, you're going to cook them quicker and it will give you more options at the end. I probably need 4 potatoes, I reckon. This is enough to feed 2 people or 4 people if you're just having a snack. If you're really hungry, you're probably gonna, 2 people would be enough. But like I said, if you just want a snack, if it's Thursday night, you're after something quick, you're not that hungry, you've had a big day, you've had a big lunch, something like that, this is a good one. All right, so my potatoes go into my milk. So, 1 more. And then I'm going to cut some leek up. And same thing, so I want the white part of the leek. I'm going to pop that in with my milk as well. Just chop your leek in half. And half again. Half again. So you've got like 4 little battens. You could just keep this in rounds if you want, but I think the big chunky rounds of leek in there can be a little sort of overpowering. So if you make them nice and small, it kind of becomes a little bit finer in the sauce. It's much more palatable. Big pinch of salt. Clove of garlic. Then I just want to give that a bit of a stir. Got my gas on now. I'm gonna let that tick away just on a light simmer for about 15 minutes until my potatoes are nice and soft. I'm gonna strain my potatoes and my leek off, set that aside. I want to pop that into the tray that I'm going to roast in. You can, if you want to, sort of crush these potatoes up a little bit. So it's just with the back of a fork. It's just going to make the sauce a little thicker, so it sticks. So you're not really, we won't be poaching the salmon in this sauce. We'll be sort of roasting it instead of poaching it, which is what we want. Okay, they're all crushed up. This is sort of what's left over of my sauce. Pop that back on the heat. I want to reduce this by probably another third at this point. We reduced it quite a bit while we were cooking off those potatoes. And this is when we're going to add in some extra flavouring. So clove of garlic, thinly sliced, pop that in. We are slicing it thinly. The one we threw in there before, because it was going to cook for 15 or 20 minutes, was fine. Slice it thinly this time because it's only going to be back on the heat for about 5 minutes. Some lemon zest. I might put some lemon juice on just to finish the dish off. But at this point, I don't want that acidity. And then some dill. So we want sort of little green flecks of dill all through our white sauce. If you really love dill, you could probably go half of that amount again. Our oven is ready. So heat back on that, give it a little stir, reduce that down by about 1/3 again. And then, time to finish this off. I can turn my gas off, my sauce, pour all over our potatoes. Those potatoes will soak all that up, so we don't have a big pool of sort of the milky sauce at the bottom that this fish is going to end up poaching in. Now the fish is only going to take about 12 minutes in the oven. So fish on top. Actually, I'm just going to take the skin off that, like this. Just run your knife right up against the skin. Fish on top of my potato. Little drizzle of oil on top of the fish. A little bit of salt. And I think I'll leave the squeeze of lemon until we come out of the oven. Okay, you can go straight into the oven. Now, as that roasts, some of those juices from the salmon are going to sort of leach out of the salmon and into that potato mix at the bottom, which is going to give you another awesome layer of flavour. So like I said, 12 minutes in an oven at 180. When it comes out, a squeeze of lemon over the top. You can put some more dill on if you wanted to, or any of the other herbs that you like, and it's ready to serve. So now we'll head to Francis Bender's shack just over the Huon River. We're going to cook some salmon on the charcoal and make a salad to go with it. Well, this is where we're going to finish our wonderful week down here in Huon, and it has been a fantastic week. If you had asked me a week ago, did I think Huon was the ultimate foodie destination in Tasmania? I probably would have said no. Now, I think it is. If you're coming to Tassie and you want a great food experience, this is where you need to come.
Head south of Hobart.
Yep.
That's the place to be.
You've changed my whole concept of Tasmanian produce. So I thought to finish, we would cook some of this fresh salmon. We've talked about the harvest by night, fresher by day concept. And then once you've done that, once you've got this really fresh product, you then need to package it and get it out to people.
That's right.
So how are you maintaining that freshness to get on a shelf in a supermarket so someone could take that home?
So what we're doing now for convenience is actually having it pre-packaged. So there's lots of advantages in having fresh product pre-packaged. So basically you can see the portion size,
yep.
You can see the price, and sealed for freshness, and away you go.
So I'm going to grill a couple of these pieces on top of the charcoal on the hibachi, and I'm going to use, this is a little spice mix. So it's a mix that will be value added to your product. Yes. I'm just going to make the spice mix up with a little bit of oil so I can base that on as we go.
That's right, couldn't be easier.
Couldn't be easier. Right.
So a little bit of
oil just to make a bit of a paste. Stir it. And that's
it.
That's our yummy flavour paste. So these will just go straight on, skin side down, and they'll cook for 90% of their time on the skin. So we're going to turn them over and touch them for a little bit of time on the flesh. The skin is going to go black, but that's what you want from charcoal. If you cooked it over gas or in a fry pan, it'll become really bitter and acrid. Over charcoal, it takes on a completely different flavour, and you want a blackened skin burnt.
Yes, yep.
So the spice mix is what we've got in here. It's lime, chilli and garlic powder. So now we want to start adding that flavour. And like you said, we know there's 2 people here. So we've got 2 portions and we know that that's going to do us perfectly. So to go with that, I want to put together a little bit of a salad. So do you want to make the salad dressing for me?
You sure you can trust me?
I trust you. There you go.
So, squeezing the lemon.
Squeezing the lemon.
Through my hands, not getting the pips.
Through your hands, not getting the pips.
Oh, great. Okay.
I'll put a pinch of salt in. And then about the same amount of oil there is to lemon juice.
Right.
So you've emulsified that really well. You've got the perfect amount of oil to lemon juice. Just pick a few of these random things here. We've got broad bean tips, nasturtiums, some beet leaves, rocket flowers. Just pick them and throw them into there, and that's going to become our salad.
So we're not tearing them, we're just popping them in?
Tear them, pick them, just, whatever you want to do.
This is very rustic.
It is. Well, we're on a deck at your shack. It makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. I can hear one of the boats going past.
How often are boats going past?
Oh, at this time of night, just as it's coming into dusk, quite a lot of boats. Shifts will be changing over, and the crew will be moving in to, as soon as it gets dark, to start harvesting.
That looks good.
That looks good.
That's
too.
our salmon's done. So look how easy that was.
Probably taken less than 10 minutes.
Easy. So we just want to drizzle some of this. So we're just going to grab our salad. Torn salad. The
Yum.
fish.
How hard was that?
So if I came home from work and I'd had a hard day at work and I was able to put together a dish that looked like that in under 10 minutes, I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, I would be too. That's looks fantastic, and it smells absolutely beautiful.
So a little clean down. So we're looking a little bit tidier.
Yeah.
We weren't too bad, I guess.
Looking professional now.
So what do you think?
Oh, it looks fantastic. It smells beautiful.
You won't get a simpler salad than that. We picked it at cinnamon and cherry.
We did.
You won't find an easier way to cook salmon than that, just over the top of charcoal. That little marinade adds a heap of flavour that complements the fish beautifully. By the time you made a dressing and picked salad, that was on and off.
Yep,
That's how simple it was.
Yep. Really, really easy.
All right, I'm going to pour us a drink from where we started this whole week.
So we've got some sparkling cider from
Willie Smith.
Willie Smith's.
And we've done a full week of eating and travelling. What was your favourite stop?
I think the picnic at Shipwright's Point, because we had just such a range of products. We had the beautiful wine, we had salmon, we had all those lovely dips and things from cinnamon and cherry, and the breads. It was just fantastic.
That's how I like to eat.
Yeah,
There's lots of options.
Yes.
You get to taste lots of different things.
Plates.
Yeah,
and platters.
with a good wine. I could have stayed there
Yes,
the whole
in the
week, I
sun.
think.
It was beautiful.
All right, so my favourite, I think, was probably, the bank.
Yes.
For me to discover a place in Huon that does food that well, as good as anywhere else I've eaten in Australia, to find a little gem like that in the Huon, for me is a revelation.
Yes.
So I'll come down just to eat there. All right,
And
cheers.
if you're driving down, you let me know you're coming.
Oh, don't worry, you'll meet me there.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
You can put up with 2 screaming kids.
That's okay. And it should work really well with the salmon. So we're going to taste.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. Right.
You go that one, I'll go that one.
Okay. I'm going for the
Tail bit.
or the belly, actually.
The belly, sorry.
Oh, yum. You've cooked that beautifully. Let me check the other one just to check. Oh, yes. Actually, we have to take it all back. Ben can cook salmon.
Tasmania, you can stop with the overcooking of salmon jokes. Well done. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to hang out in your part of the world. It is phenomenal. You are an absolute icon down here in the food industry and the tourism industry. So thanks for showing us around. And hopefully, one day, you will come up to me and I'll do the same for you.
Yeah, that'll be great. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What an awesome food crawl Frances and I had. And to finish up at her holiday home, her shack over the Huon on that deck was a fantastic experience. The whole week was a lot of fun. To round out our week here, I'm doing a recipe that is my father's recipe. So if you're wondering why I've got this contraption in front of me, if I don't follow this recipe to the letter, my dad will get very upset. So it's the first time I've ever actually had a recipe in the kitchen with me that I'm going to follow. All right, so the first thing I have to do is mix all the ingredients in a bowl. I should be able to follow this pretty simply. We need 2 tablespoons of ketchup mayonnaise. 2 tablespoons of ketchup mayonnaise. 20 mils, so 1 tablespoon of sweet chilli. 40 mils of tomato sauce, so 2 tablespoons of tomato sauce. So there's just a couple of 5 mils, just a couple of drops of Tabasco. This is HP sauce, which is a weird one, I know, but apparently this is what makes up the magic in my dad's recipe. So 40 mils of that, 2 tablespoons of that. I think that's it. So that's the sauce base for our Kilpatrick. This is not a traditional Kilpatrick, absolutely not even close to a traditional Kilpatrick. My dad has tweaked this, changed it many, many times. It never used to have ketchup mayonnaise in it, and then I started cooking things with ketchup mayonnaise and he loved it, so he put that in there. It's a bit of a mishmash. Then cheese. Got 100 grams of cheese, and then the same of bacon. So that's the bacon sort of you can get that's been diced. I find for the best result with the Kilpatrick, take that and turn it into that. So dice it really finely. It makes for a much nicer bite or mouthfeel than the big chunky bacon does when it's diced really fine. So I'm going to pop that in, 100 grams, sorry, of that. Some salt. Mix all that together. And that's our sort of mixture that's going to go on top of our oysters. Done. The last thing I almost forgot, which you definitely can't forget in a Kilpatrick, is Worcestershire sauce. So 40 mils of Worcestershire. And Worcestershire is an awesome combination of sort of vinegar, brown sugar, tamarind and some spices. I absolutely love it. And it has such a unique flavour that you can't really substitute it with anything else. So you have to have Worcester. All right, so I want to put about a heaped teaspoon of this mix on top of each of our oysters. And this will cook. And if you don't like oysters because of the texture of the oyster, because it's quite soft, it has a very unique texture to it, this is the best way to get around that. Cooking the oyster firms it up, and then with this extra layer of flavour on there, it really is something that if you're not an oyster lover, can bring you to enjoying oysters. And it can actually, I mean, if you hate oysters, this can even take you to a level where you love Kilpatrick oysters, but no other oyster. So pop this into the oven. And I reckon 15 to 20 minutes, they'll be ready to go. The best bit of advice I can give you once they come out of the oven is let them sit for about 5 minutes, just to cool slightly and for everything just to calm down a little bit. My family have no self-control when it comes to Kilpatrick oysters, and they'll eat them straight out of the oven. But my advice to you at home give them 5 minutes. And even if you don't like oysters, I'm pretty certain this one can turn you.